And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk. We're here on Monday nights where we talk all things Brevard College Tornado Athletics and have a very exciting show on tap for you tonight. We'll be talking a lot of football coming off a big homecoming win. We'll be talking some volleyball with a couple of those star student athletes. And also, we'll catch up with Director of Athletics, Myranda, Nash. But before we get started with tonight's show, like we always do, we want to take some time to thank the loyal sponsors of Brevard College Tornado Athletics: Arby's, Brevard Orthopedics, BSN Sports, eGolf Ford of Brevard, Hampton Inn, Ingles, Jets Pizza, Pepsi, Triangle Stop, and Young Transportation. Appreciate those sponsors of Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Well, this past weekend was Homecoming 2021. Just a magnificent time as alumni from all sorts of decades came back to the Brevard College campus. Volleyball and women's soccer had matches earlier in the week to get things started. We had a pep rally. We had the unveiling of the Tornado sculpture. We had the big homecoming football game, and we had Hall of Fame inductions for the Brevard College Tornado Athletics Hall of Fame. Jeff Wentworth, a incredible cross-country and track and field runner from the class of 1980, and also the 2009 National Championship cycling team who won the Mountain Bike National Championship in Truckee, California back in 2009. The Tornadoes have gone on to win a total of 10 national championships since that inaugural championship team. And this week, the Tornadoes mountain bike team will head to Durango, Colorado for the national championships, USA Cycling Collegiate Mountain Bike National Championships. So best of luck to Coach Brad Purley and Coach Cypress Gorey and the entire team as they head to Durango, Colorado for the national championships later this week. Men's soccer had a tough 4-0 defeat at Covenant, but then came back with a big 5-1 win at Berea. Ryan Lynch with 2 goals, Samuel Callaghan with 2 assists, Esteban Berto with a goal and an assist, Adam Spencer with a goal, Ryan Sakamba with 1 goal, and Tino Oneto with an assist. Next up for the Tornadoes, home this Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. at Lamel Family Field. That's against Warren Wilson. And then on Saturday, you don't want to miss Senior Day when the Tornadoes will be home versus Maryville. That's a 4:30 p.m. start on Saturday at Lamel Family Field. Women's soccer, a 4-0 win versus Warren Wilson last Thursday. That really got some of that homecoming festivities cooking. Abby Warzencroft with 2 goals, Sally Riggin with 2 assists, Taylor Richardson with a goal and assist in that one. Then a 0-0 tie in double overtime at Covenant on Saturday. And meanwhile, Rebecca Rojas, the goalkeeper for the Tornadoes, and the BC defense just continue to shut out opponents. And 6 shutouts now for Rojas and the BC defense, and a current shutout streak of 402 minutes for the Tornadoes. Next up for the Tornadoes women's soccer team, home versus Maryville, 5 p.m. on Wednesday at Lamel Family Field. And then Saturday, 2 p.m. versus Agnes Scott. That's Senior Day for the Tornadoes women's soccer team at Lamel Family Field. Hope to see you out there to support men's and women's soccer. Volleyball, a 3-0 win over Agnes Scott last Wednesday. Ashley Hoxett with 10 kills. Caitlin Presley with 14 assists. Logan Pretty with 12 assists and 7 digs. A 3-0 defeat at Covenant, but then a 3-1 win over Wesleyan as part of that tri-match. Caitlin Presley with another triple-double, 23 assists, 12 kills, and 11 digs. And Melanie Hoyle, who we expect to see on the show later tonight, career high 15 kills. Next up for volleyball, tomorrow, home versus Piedmont at the Bosch. That's Tuesday at 6 p.m. Come on out and see the Tornadoes volleyball team. And then Saturday, they hit the road to Montgomery, Alabama for another USA South Conference tri-match. Cross country was at the Queen City Invite this past Friday. And once again, the Tornadoes continue with all sorts of personal best. 5 Tornadoes across men's and women's teams with personal records. And this one, including Garrett Spangler, who ran a tremendous race with a 15th place result out of 182 total runners in an 8K. And Zoe Capps on the women's side, the top Brevard finisher on the women's side of things. Next up, the Tornadoes will turn their attention to the USA South Conference Championships. That's on October 30th at Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Men's and women's tennis concluded their fall season with matches versus Mars Hill and Pfeiffer. Singles wins by Ali Kogoy, Hamrick Perry, and Sophie Tranham. They'll be back in action in the spring when things really get going with conference play. Football, a 31-0 win versus Maryville on homecoming. What an afternoon it was at Islam L Family Field. The campus was rocking. Taylor Jackson III, 238 total yards, 4 touchdowns. Brandon Norris with a big day receiving. Jerome Bass did it all. We'll be talking to him later in the show. Stephon Kennedy with a big day defensively, along with Tyler Harrison and Lyndon Gaunt. And some breaking news, 2 of those players are rewarded. Taylor Jackson, the third USA South Conference Offensive Player of the Week those honors announced just hours ago, along with Stephon Kennedy, Defensive Player of the Week for the conference. Congratulations to those 2 student athletes. And football will be on the road this weekend at LaGrange. That's a 4 p.m. kickoff. Next home game versus Southern Virginia on Saturday, October the 23rd. And with that, to talk even further about the big win over the weekend and to take an inside look into how the Tornadoes operations work on the football side of things. Glad to be joined in his Tornado Talk debut by Coach Shane Nelson, linebackers coach, strength and conditioning coach, director of football operations, co-defensive coordinator. You name it, this guy does it. Coach Nelson, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks, Phil. I'm happy to be here. Like you said, making my debut. So happy to come on here and talk a little football with you guys.
Well, appreciate you taking some time out. I know it's a busy day operationally. You guys are getting practice in and so forth. Do want to get started by just recapping this past weekend. What a win by the Tornadoes, blanking Maryville, 31-0, all phases clicking. Can you talk about, kind of the keys to success and, how you guys were able to put together that performance?
Yeah, I mean, kind of when you look at our season so far, with everything that's kind of gone on, this was kind of the first complete game we've played as a team, in all 3 phases. Like you pointed out, Taylor Jackson coming in on his first start, kind of got the offense going. They were humming throughout the day, running the ball, throwing the ball, everything was working for us. Defensively, we've kind of held stride, these last couple of weeks, and we just gone out there and, just stuck to doing our job. Stephon had a really good day. Lyndon Gaunt had a really good day. There's a lot of things that people don't see, kind of some of those guys up front and guys just doing their job. They don't really get noticed on the stat sheet, but it opens stuff up, for those other guys to make plays. And then, special teams, we did a lot of really good things. So when we do stuff like that, and we play that complete game, that's kind of the team we all believe we can be. So, now it's just a matter of kind of keeping things rolling into next week, and, I say all that to even go further with, the week of practice we had was kind of strange as well. With the rain and, trying to get on the turf, we were outside for one day. The rest of it was walkthroughs in the gym. So, and when you do that, your timing and your spacing is thrown off a little bit, so, we didn't really know how we were going to come out, but we were fresh. We were ready to go, and against the Maryville team that, normally is at the top of our conference. So, we were really, really, really proud of the way our guys, reacted and responded to adversity this week. It's really just a hats off to, the guy, like I said, the core group of guys we have and the kids we have in this program. And yeah, it was a great one. It was first shutout in a long time, but we hadn't had one since I've been here. Hats off to Coach Jakes and the rest of our defensive staff. Coach Eubanks, Coach Romero for putting together a plan. Our kids believing in us, and yeah, it was just a great day. I was really happy to get a win with everybody on campus and that electric atmosphere. So.
Yeah, electric atmosphere, no doubt about it. Would like to break down a couple of those individual performances because you mentioned Taylor Jackson III. He goes on to, be named USA South Conference Offensive Player of the Week. 241 total yards, 204 in the air. Also got it done on the ground. 4 touchdowns. And this is a player who came off a major, ACL surgery just last spring and really worked hard in rehab. Correct, Coach?
Yeah, that's right. He was here in the last fall, unfortunate injury, kind of a non-contact deal, end of practice, and so, we knew he had that kind of talent to come out and do these things, and we had kind of been, he gotten some spots here and there, to kind of get in there and get comfortable. But his name got called this week. The offensive staff, kind of like we did on defense, just put together a great plan, just played to our strengths. And yeah, he just kind of let his talent take over, after fighting back from, like you say, kind of a gruesome injury. You never want that to happen to anybody, but he's a resilient kid. He's a very energetic kid who loves the game of football. So for him to come out and do that in his first start, it was awesome. And like I said, if he can keep doing that and we can stay kind of on this roll here, then more good things will happen for us.
Yeah, and would like to talk a little more about two guys on your side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball. Stephon Kennedy named Defensive Player of the Week after 5 tackles, 2.5 sacks, a couple forced fumbles, a fumble recovery, kind of doing it all. And then also Jerome Bass, who, we expect to have later on in the show. I mean, talking about getting it done in all 3 phases, a big day defensively along that defensive line, 6 tackles, a couple of sacks, a 3-yard touchdown reception on a shuffle pass. So he gets into the end zone on the offensive side of the ball. And then he even returns a kick. You name it, this guy does it. Tell us a little more about both Stephon and Jerome.
Yeah, I mean, just, being on that side of the ball and seeing those guys every day, it's hard to find 2 guys that, work as hard as those 2 do. And to see a guy like Jerome get out there on offense and score is just, it's amazing, and then, on top of that, he's just been so disruptive these last couple weeks on the defensive front. Whatever we ask him to do, it's always yes, sir. You never really hear him complaining. And then, yeah, like you said, they kick off and he's got a chance to field it. And I thought he was going to break it for a touchdown. That's just the day he was having. But yeah, just a hardworking guy that, if you ask him to do something, he's going to do it. He's not afraid to do something maybe he's not comfortable with. But, as you can see, he had the hands, caught the little shovel pass and dug his way in there for the touchdown. So it was great to see. And, Stephon is just, even dating back since I got here in 2019, he's always just kind of been that defensive presence. Kind of that clutch sack master when you need it. You know what I mean? So for him to kind of, he kind of was quiet these first couple weeks, but he's really come into his stride these last few weeks, last week and this week. So expecting big things from him moving forward. Again, just a guy that, once he gets hot, rushing the passer, and it's tough to stop him, and he's very disruptive in the run game as well. I think that kind of goes unnoticed for him. Especially when you got a guy like Jerome playing right next to you. But, 2 guys that, I'm proud to say are on our defense. And, again, just hats off to our defensive staff for preparing those guys. Coach Jake's always like to say we turn over every stone. So whether it's moving guys around or trying some different things to get those guys in positions to make plays, we're looking for it. And Coach Jake's does a heck of a job of finding those and our guys go out and execute. So it was awesome to see all that stuff happen on just a great day on Saturday.
Apologize for these technical difficulties. Back here, you're watching Tornado Talk, inside look at Brevard College athletics. And joined once again by Coach Shane Nelson. Coach, thanks for your patience with these technical issues. You got us loud and clear now?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
All right, very good. Well, appreciate you breaking down the game versus Maryville, big 31-0 victory. Coach, tell us a little bit about your journey, coming from Fort Lewis College in Colorado. And, as we mentioned at the top of the show, you've taken on all sorts of roles here, a really valuable member. Tell us about your journey as far as, getting into coaching and so forth, and also your duties here at Brevard College.
Yeah, so I played at Fort Lewis College, as a redshirt walk-on. Me and my twin brother, we both walked on at the same time. Just kind of, moved around a little bit, got recruited as a running back, ended up at linebacker, ended up being a 3-year starter over there. had some great memories over there. Love it. Love Durango. I'm really jealous of the cycling team that they get to go down there and check it out. I haven't been back in a long time, but you know, once my senior year kind of got to its close, my brother and I went up to our head coach, who had just happened to be our position coach and defensive coordinator. And we were like, Coach Riff, I think we want to coach. And he was like, yeah, I already knew that. So I got some spots for you guys. So we'll see how it goes in the spring, and then we'll see how what happens there. And if you guys are good enough, we'll keep you on in the fall. So helped out with linebackers that first spring, just in spring ball, and just absolutely loved it. Loved every second of it. Kind of knew I wanted to be a coach probably since high school, if I had to guess. My geometry notebook is full of plays, so luckily the teacher liked me and she helped me out a little bit while I was busy drawing football plays. But once that happened, there was a need on the offensive side of the ball that fall, and I was recruited as a running back. And the offensive style that we were still playing at the time was similar to what I played in. So I kind of just slid into the running back position role, and coached the running backs for a year. Our offensive coordinator left to take a different job. We got a new one. I got moved to receivers the following year. Coached receivers in a pretty pass-happy air raid offense. And at that point, we had some struggles at Fort Lewis, if I'm going to be truthful. I feel like it was time, after spending 7 years there, to kind of spread my wings and do some different things. So found my way out here, North Carolina, and I emailed a couple schools in the area because I didn't really have any connections coming out. And Coach Kyatt was one of the only people to respond to me. So he took a chance on me that first spring, 2019. I coached the defensive line. That was kind of my interview. He's like, I just want to see how you coach, how you kind of carry yourself around the kids and day-to-day office work and stuff like that. And I'm still here. So apparently I'm doing some good things. And, that first year, 2019, just ended up being the linebackers coach. Did some of the video stuff, which is, always a grind. Every day is a grind with the video thing. And then, as after that, kind of got into some strange times, as everybody knows. And, we had some coaches, take some opportunities that they couldn't pass up. And, Coach Kyatt asked if I'd be interested in doing the operations thing and the strength thing. And, if I could do both of them. And I said, why not? Might as well try. I'm kind of, I like the challenge. I like the challenge of trying to do a lot of things. So, last year, as weird as it was, got an opportunity to do some of the operational stuff, which, is really a lot of paperwork, booking the travel, where we're eating, what we're eating, when we're eating, when the bus is picking us up, where we're stopping for our walkthroughs. And then the strength stuff has always been a love of mine. If I wasn't coaching football, I'd want to be, a personal trainer or a strength coach, at a school. So that's what my degree's in. So really excited that I get to continue doing that. It's with COVID and everything, it's been tough. Limited numbers in the weight room. A lot of guys working out off campus, but it's once we can get back to getting the music pumped up in there and everybody in there and the weights moving and rocking, I'll be in my happy place. But yeah, it's been a fun ride doing all these things. Coach Kyatt's really understanding of if I say I need some help, he'll take a couple things off my plate. But like I said, I enjoy the challenge, and going into this season, just kind of that grind, work set mentality that I try to bring every day. Coach Jakes actually was the one that kind of surprised me with this, assistant or co-defensive coordinator title in our first defensive meeting in front of all the kids. So, I really have to thank him for just seeing something in me and allowing me to kind of just keep working and keep doing my thing. Me and Coach Jakes have two very differing styles, but I think we work well together because of it. We see things on different levels. When it comes to the game of football, he's a little bit more out of the box than I am. But I think us working together has been a really nice marriage, I guess you could say. We do share an office, so we spend a lot of time together. And I've learned a ton since I've come here and, learning under him with him as the defensive coordinator. So a lot of thanks, to him, obviously, our entire staff, everyone who's been here, just learned so much in the short amount of time that I've been here. So.
Great. Last one, Coach, before we bring in the student athletes. You mentioned the co-defensive coordinator role and how you work together with Coach Jakes. I know, fans of the football program love to know sort of the inner workings, how that works exactly on game day. Can you talk about the communication between you two? Who's up in the box? Who's on the field? How does that work?
Yeah, so Coach Jakes is up in the box. He's kind of, I always like to say he's kind of the mad scientist of it all. He's up there and he can kind of get that bird's eye view of it all, and he kind of sees things before they happen. Sometimes it's a little eerie at times, but and I'm more of the voice to the players, really. When we got to get into something a little more technical, grab the whiteboard, calm somebody down. That's kind of where I kind of come in. But what's really great about Coach Jakes, and not just with me, but with our entire defensive staff, is it's more of a collaboration than anything that I've been a part of so far. I definitely have or all of us as position coaches have a voice, So when we're talking about how the linebacker should play something, or how the D line or outside linebacker should play something, yeah, it's almost like it turns into a clinic every time we're in the meeting room, rather than him just saying, "This is what I want, let's go do it." So again, a lot of learning goes on, but yeah, it's really just, I'm kind of his voice down there on the field, as well as Coach Romero and Coach Eubanks. But I'm his voice. He sees something, try to make sure that we get it communicated and get things fixed. He's really good, like I said, just being creative, kind of on the fly. So he'll see something and be like, I think this is it. I think we got to do this. This will be our adjustment. We end up running it, and it's really, really successful. So kind of let him be the mad scientist, and then just I try to translate everything so the kids can understand it.
Very good. Well, speaking of the players, the student athletes, we're going to see if we can bring a couple of them into the program here with us, Coach. So hang with us here as Taylor Jackson III, fresh off the USA South Conference Player of the Week Award, and also Jerome Bass have entered the building. Coach Nelson, can you help us pass the baton to these two? Perhaps maybe if there's a little inside info on this cowboy hat that Jerome's got going, and anything else you want to maybe tell us about Taylor. Tell us even more about these two.
Well, the cowboy hat, kind of last fall, I kind of wore one to practice a couple times, but it kind of died off. And then I get here Saturday morning and we got 20 kids in cowboy hats. And I'm like, guys, where's my invite? Like, I started this, but no, I mean, Jerome just looks good in a cowboy hat. All those guys, I think it was just something spur of the moment. Funny. Didn't you guys see him at Tractor Supply or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just spur of the moment, just looking good, feeling good, playing good, and then you got my boy T-Jack over there, always got the fresh cut, looking good all the time. Just super, like I said before, proud of both these guys. Taylor coming back from injury, kind of waiting his turn, and once he got kind of that opportunity, obviously, he's starting to run with it. And I can't say enough about Jerome, kind of the rock of our defense at times. Just like I said, I'll look at him in the eyes and I can tell he's tired, and he's like, "I got it. Don't worry. I got this," and then I'll go out and make a play. So just proud of the way these guys have accomplished some things so far, but this back half of the season is super important for us. We got to take care of business, just handle ourselves, can't worry about anybody else or anything else. Just control the controllables and we'll be all right.
Very good. Well, Coach Shane Nelson, linebackers coach, co-defensive coordinator, strength and conditioning coach, director of football operations. He does it all for the Brevard College football program. Congrats, Coach, again on the 31-0 win versus Maryville. Best of luck on the preparation as you head into LaGrange this week, on the road this weekend at LaGrange. And thanks again for joining the program. Great to have you on the show, Coach.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
All right, there he goes, Coach Shane Nelson, and joined once again by Jerome Bass and Taylor Jackson III, also making his Tornado Talk debut. Jerome, thanks for joining the program.
Thanks for having me.
And Taylor Jackson III, fresh off that USA South Conference Offensive Player of the Week award. Taylor, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having us, Phil.
All right, Taylor, let's start with you. First collegiate start. Just what a way to come out of the gates here. 4 touchdowns, 241 total yards. You got it done with your legs as well, running the ball, leading the Tornadoes to a 31-0 win. I would ask you how you feel, but I can imagine you felt great after that one. But rather, what was the key to you guys putting together such a successful game plan?
Oh, it was just breaking down the basics. Making sure everybody does their part, does their like 1/11th, as some of our coaches says. And yeah, just everybody just doing what they're supposed to do at the right time, at the right moment, and it gives you the opportunity to make big plays.
And Jerome Bass, we mentioned to your coach Shane Nelson, you did it all in this one. The touchdown, reception, 6 tackles and a sack and a half from your natural, position up there in the front of the defense, and then he even returned a kick. Had to be a fun afternoon for you, Jerome.
Oh yeah, man, it was just a blast. I really enjoyed it. Finally got an opportunity to do more than just play defense, so I took advantage.
Yeah, no doubt. And let's talk about that just a little more. This was a pretty remarkable moment, and especially if you guys kind of knew it was coming. I know that you guys, it was something y'all were working on behind the scenes and, in secret and all that kind of thing. But in the first quarter, about 6 minutes to play in the first quarter, Jerome Bass enters the offensive side of the ball. So suddenly there's a number 8 playing offense, and it's not Jaden O'Leary. It's a different number 8, clearly, and lines up a little ahead of Taylor Jackson and a little old-fashioned shuffle pass, and into the end zone goes Jerome Bass. Tell us about the play, Jerome, but also just how it felt, to suddenly be in the end zone on the offensive side of the ball.
Oh yeah, the coaches came to me earlier this week and asked me if I would do it, and I never really thought that they were going to call the play in the game. But sure enough, when I heard the formation, I knew I had to go, and I just got excited and nervous. And then the moment, because Taylor had the option of keeping the ball, and I thought he was going to keep it because he's faster than me, of course. I knew he could get to the end zone. And then when he pitched it, I was like, oh, crap, I got to get in. And whenever I just went down, I crossed the line or whatever, and they called it a touchdown, I just, excited. And I didn't know, how to feel in that moment. I was just like, whoa, I just got my first college touchdown offense.
Yeah, no doubt. What a moment. And Taylor, it's one you'll never forget either, correct?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's crazy because me and Jerome have been talking about this for months, I guess you can say, about getting him in the backfield and getting him a few touches on offense. And for him to have that opportunity and for me to be able to give him that opportunity, it felt great.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, Taylor, we also mentioned, when we were talking to Coach Nelson, you had to come back from a serious injury last spring, working your way back from knee surgery, and you did all the hard work in rehab, and, the results are paying off now. Can you tell us about that journey and, just what a challenge that was to work your way back into playing shape?
I know it happened January 20th. It was our 4th practice of the year of our spring season. It was a late practice, 11:30 or so. And to go from that moment to now has been just, uphill battle every single day. Had a great support system, my mom, my dad, my 3 siblings. And to be able to come out on my debut, really, as a starter, and to be able to do that is just surreal, and it's just a blessed moment.
Yeah, no doubt. Congratulations on that, and all the best for future success. What an inspiring story! How hard you've worked in that training room and in that weight room to get back to where you need to be. Jerome, I saw you nodding your head. Pretty exceptional. When your teammates are able to come back from that kind of adversity.
Oh, yes, sir, of course. Because whenever it first happened, we were in the middle of a huge quarterback competition, seeing who's going to get the first start. And it was very unfortunate, went down, and we was all, really upset about it. And just to see him work his way all the way back and everything he had to go through to get here is just phenomenal. Just happy to see him get his moment.
Now, Jerome, would like to bring it back to the defensive side of the ball because you guys blanked Maryville. 0. You can't get any better than that as far as, first shutout since 2014. I mean, we're talking 7 years, since there was a shutout by the Tornado defense. And, even though you guys haven't been pitching shutouts, week in, week out, you've been blanking opponents as far as, any sort of productivity on their end, and a key part of the success these last couple of years. You guys have got something really special going here, and it's the product of hard work over these years, under guys like Coach Jakes and Coach Nelson. Can you tell us even more, about that defensive culture and how you guys get it done?
Oh, yes, sir. Like Coach Nelson said, we preach assignment football. You just do your 111, your job, and play for the guy next to you. And so, even with the younger guys who came in this year, we've really had to bring them into it and try to introduce them to the culture. And especially since we're outnumbered now, because we bring in so many players, so we really just had to take them. We took a moment and where we just sat down, everyone, and was like, "Hey, this is who we are. This is what we've been working towards. It's time to get on the ball. Time to join in. Come on, guys." And to have a great coaching staff like we do, it's phenomenal, man. They're so patient with us and they're understanding. And like I said, Coach Jakes is a mastermind. When it comes to the DBs, you have Coach Nelson who can tell you anything about the linebacker position. And then just everyone else just stepping up and doing their part on and off the field.
Yeah, no doubt. And, Taylor Jackson, having a defense like that, people might not realize it, but that helps you all on the offensive end, as far as, getting you guys back on the field quickly, field position, and so forth.
Yes, sir. I mean, it's been the past few weeks has been a kind of shifting period where we're trying to offense is letting them have too much time on the field. We obviously want to control the clock, and for them to three and outs every other series is just, it's great to put us back on the field and give us time to pitch these shutouts, these 31-0s that you saw last weekend.
Very good. Just a couple more before I let you go. Taylor, let's stick with you. A sophomore from Guyton, Georgia, South Effington High School. Tell us a little bit about your football journey. When did you start playing football, and, eventually how'd you find Brevard College?
I started playing football at a young age, Pop Warner all the way up. I got to South Effingham High School. I was a four-sport athlete, baseball, basketball, track, and as well as football. Football was always my love, though. I had about 17 offers coming out of high school. Nowhere I really wanted to play. Far off, Minnesota, Michigan, Ohio. And I was at the point where I was just going to enroll at a local school, a local college near home, and just go to school and maybe potentially try out. And our quarterback coach, Garrett Kruzik, happened to just call me up. It was 5:30 in the afternoon. I'm sitting in my mom's office at her work back home, and he kind of brought me in, the whole breakdown, how they saw my film. I also have somebody else here with me that was from my high school, Zachary Taylor, also plays defensive back now. Me and him both came in together from South Effingham. They originally saw my film off of his because he played receiver for me in high school. And to be able to get here, I got here in the fall at Brevard, and with open arms. met a lot of great people, and the process has been great. It's a wonderful place here. I love it here. The creek is my favorite place now. Love to ice down after a hot day.
Yeah, very cool. Jerome Bass, we've had you on Tornado Talk before, but what's especially noteworthy, out of Red Springs, North Carolina, Red Springs High School, this is your senior year. You're coming down the home stretch here. As you reflect back on your career at Brevard College, and now also looking ahead, towards a postgraduate life, can you kind of sum it up? What it's meant to be a Tornado?
It's meant the world, man. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Just the relationships I've built with the people here and the coaching staff and all my professors, and the friendships I've made, I know I'm going to take along with me throughout my whole life. I've really just enjoyed myself, and I enjoyed having this opportunity. It's sad to see it come to an end, but all good things have to end eventually.
Yeah, no doubt. And Jerome, what's the degree going to be in? And have you had your eye on a career? You know, what you plan to do with it?
I'll graduate with criminal justice degree, and I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do yet because I was going to go into the police academy, but I do have 2 years eligibility left, so I'm thinking of continuing to play as well.
So keep your eye out. A little inside tip there, NATO Nation. Perhaps another super senior coming down the stretch here. Well, before I let you two go, do you want to give you the opportunity for any thank yous or shout outs? Anybody who may have helped you along the way, who might be tuning in tonight or catching the show on replay? The floor is yours, Jerome Bass.
Yes, I'd like to really thank my mom and all the coaching staff and the offensive line and defensive line, Mob and Coach Easter, the old coach that was here before, and Coach Eubanks, the one who really had to step up whenever Coach Easter left, and really just the whole team for just giving me the opportunity to play this season, the season that we are having.
Very good. And Taylor Jackson III, same opportunity for you. Thank yous or shout outs?
Shout out to the coaches here for giving me the opportunity. Shout out to my mom, my dad. I know they're watching right now. Love y'all. I know I'm making you proud right now. My sisters, Ashley, Maisie, my brother Tyler, and as well as like my surgeon, John George, who kind of brought me back, as well as my two trainers, Ernie Ledesma back home, and then Miss Caroline Pappin, athletic trainer here at Brevard College. Thank them very much for getting me to the point where I need to be.
Very good. Jerome Bass, Taylor Jackson III, two key parts of a big 31-0 win over Maryville on homecoming. Thanks again for joining the show. Best of luck this weekend at LaGrange. Great job tonight, fellas, Jerome and Taylor. Thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Phil. Appreciate it.
All right, and as we shift gears quickly here, we're going to bring in two volleyball student athletes. Volleyball coming off a 4-set win over Wesleyan this past weekend, and joined now by Kendall Rockstad up in the right top corner, and also Melanie Hoyle. Ladies, thanks for joining the show.
No problem.
Yeah, of course.
All right, great to have you both on here. Tornado Talk debuts, sort of the theme of the night. And Kendall, we'll start with you. Freshman middle blocker from Kannapolis, North Carolina, South Rowan High School. Tell us so far, freshman season about halfway through. We're heading towards fall break. Certainly the home stretch from the volleyball perspective. How's it been so far, to be here at Brevard College and also to be part of the volleyball team?
Honestly, it's been an experience that I really can't explain. I love all the people here. I mean, they all welcomed me with open arms. I mean, it's not even just about the athletics here. The professors, my other students, everyone's just so welcoming here that it really made me get over my freshman fears, I guess you could say, because every freshman comes in what am I going to do? I'm starting over again all by myself this time. So it's just really nice to know that I have my people here too.
And same question for you, Melanie, a freshman middle blocker also from Sylva, North Carolina, Smoky Mountain High School. So not all that far away from here in Brevard. How's it been for you so far? Freshman campaign as a collegiate student athlete.
I love it here. I love the small campus. I love the homey feel to it. It makes me feel at home. And even though my home isn't that far away, I still feel like I'm there. I love the people here. They are all so welcoming, and I couldn't have asked for a better team or a better group of people to be around.
Well, it's been great to see the team start to, notch some wins lately. I know you guys had a bunch of matches that had to be a little frustrating, these super close, 5-setters and, just on the brink of getting over the top. But, this past week, 2 wins, 3-0 win, so straight sets over Agnes Scott and then over Wesleyan on Saturday on the road. Melanie, let's start with you on this one. What do you think the key was on those 2 wins this past week?
I think a big part of where our wins have started coming from is we're really starting to gel more as a team. And a lot of things to that goes to Anna for just finding that right rotation that works the best for all of us. And I feel like communication definitely goes a long way. And I feel like as the season has gone further on, we're all a lot closer, and hence that's where the communication comes in. And I just feel like we're a lot closer.
Kendall, anything to add to that?
I mean, honestly, it's what she said. Our chemistry is really like bonded. Like, obviously, we came in not really knowing each other, but after the first day, it was like we were a family. We really have come together on the court and off the court. We do bonding together. I mean, it's really nice to know that I don't have to just be friends with freshmen. I can be friends with upperclassmen as well on the team.
And Kendall, tell us a little more about your coaching staff. We've had Anna Grant and Kia Kaufman on the show, but I don't know if we've heard it from, you all necessarily, just how fortunate you are to have coaches like that with all that experience.
I mean, it's amazing. They're so nice, and just they know really how to they make sure that they're coaching everyone to what they need. So every person is different. We all have different personalities. We all take things in differently on and off the court. And to know that they take in who we are is really nice to know that they can coach us to our extent of what we listen to. So every person's different. It's nice to know that I can have someone that's not just my coach, but is also someone I can trust to talk to on and off the court.
And Melanie, your experience, I'm sure you felt like your game has improved, and you've grown in this short time under this coaching staff as well.
Yes, I definitely have. And even my parents noticed something. They came to the first home game, and we had gotten out of preseason, and they came to the game, and they're like, we already see a complete difference in your game and just my attitude in general. I am just so happy to be here, and I'm so grateful for the coaches that I have.
Melanie, a career high 15 kills against Wesleyan in the 4-set win. And tell us a little bit about the art of the kill. Obviously, a good assist or set, is a big part of the equation. But, what does it mean when, you're able to rack up those kind of numbers? What does it take to be an effective offensive attacker?
Well, definitely a big shout out to my passers for getting it to the setters, and for setters putting the ball where it needs to be. And I guess the art of the kill, I'd say it definitely has to deal with a lot of just having that mindset of your spatial skills on where the ball needs to be on the court and placement wise, and just finding those holes within the court and in between people. That's definitely a main thing. And just playing smart about it, because it's not just go up full swing and just absolutely kill it as hard as you can. That's how you get blocked. It's not fun. You definitely have to be smart whenever you're playing.
Yeah, and Kendall, you both are listed, at least on the roster. I'm sure you play other positions occasionally as well, but you're both listed as middle blockers. And so for listeners or viewers of the show who might not know exactly what we're talking about with all these volleyball terms, can you tell us what the middle blocker position is all about?
So as a middle blocker, which I am actually fairly new to being a middle, I ended high school being a right side and a middle, but my main focus this year is to be a middle. And it's really just, you're up at the net and you're focusing on being there for outside hitting, you're being there for right side hitting, you're being there for middle hitting, and you really have to focus on, the main point of it is you want to get your middle set, but it's really hard if a pass isn't perfect. But when those passes are perfect, they want it to come to us because we can be big up there and we'll be aggressive. And I know that there's a lot of jobs to come from being a middle. I mean, I'm not only focusing on myself, I'm having to get out of the way of my teammates and make sure I'm leading the court in a way, because I'm in the center. I'm trying to help my front row, my right side, my outside. I'm really leading most of the time on the court.
Very good. Well said, for sure. Just a couple more before we let you go, as you guys have a match to prepare for tomorrow. Kendall, off the field, off the court, tell us a little bit about, your interest, your studies. I know you're a freshman, so don't, feel like you have to have it all figured out exactly at this moment. But tell us where you're leaning in terms of, major, future career, those kind of things.
I definitely can say I don't have it all figured out. That is for sure. But as of right now, my main focus is majoring in exercise science. And a lot of it is coming from, like, I've always known that I wanted to be in a healthcare, like, kind of career field. But my focus being here is to really, like, narrow it down and see what career best fits me in the end, honestly. So that's my main focus right now. And I'm hoping that after season ends, I can join more clubs and be a part of, going and being in the student section for more teams. So
great. And Melanie, your interest off the court?
I am also undecided for my major. I have quite a few interests, but not entirely sure on what I want to settle on. My main thing, like why I came to Brevard, is to narrow it down, like Kendall said. I just want to find that perfect career path for me that will lead to me being happy in the future. That's my main goal.
Very good. Well said. And, sounds like exactly where you both are should be at this time, just getting started in your college career. Melanie Hoyle, Kendall Rockstad, before we let you go, do want to give you the chance for any thank yous or shout outs, anybody who may have helped you along the way. The floor is yours, Kendall. Thank yous or shout outs?
I just want to say thank you to, my coaches now. They've done a lot for me. They've helped me grow already. And some shout outs to my mom and my sister. They definitely have helped me, grow as a person and help me realize what I want to do in the future. And thanks to my old team and my old high school coach.
Very good. Well said. Same opportunity for you, Melanie. Thank yous or shout outs?
I definitely want to thank my family for allowing me to have this opportunity to come to Brevard and be able to play sports here and continue my education. And also want to thank the coaches that I have here now for making it possible, my high school coaches for allowing me to better my game and to have the opportunity to play here. Shout out to McKenna on the volleyball team for just sticking with me, since we are both dual sport athletes and we will be trying to push through both seasons together. So shout out to her.
Very good. Well, you'll be able to see these two student athletes in action tomorrow, 6 p.m. at the Bosch versus Piedmont. That's Tuesday at 6 p.m. at the Boshemer Gymnasium here on the campus of Brevard College. If you're unable to come out here to the game in person, you can catch it right here on this YouTube channel. And, it'll be a lot of fun to see you all continue as USA South Conference play really heating up and you're trying to qualify for postseason. So best of luck tomorrow and beyond. And great job on your Tornado Talk debut, Kendall Rockstad and Melanie Hoyle. Thanks for joining the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there they go. And hope you can join us tomorrow for that volleyball match, 6 p.m. versus Piedmont. And we're going to bring in now a very special guest. Great to have back on the program here, Director of Athletics, Myranda Nash. Myranda, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me, Phil. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, no doubt. And we've got a lot to talk about. It's been a little while since we've caught up here on Tornado Talk. And, first things first, this past weekend, homecoming 2021 wrapping up, and just a ton of festivities. We had volleyball, women's soccer, and football all in action. Football, with a big 31-0 win. We had Hall of Fame inductions of Jeff Wentworth and the 2009 cycling team. We had the unveiling of the Tornado sculpture in front of the athletics field house. Just a ton of festivities, not to mention, things going on throughout the college in general beyond athletics as, alumni are able to come back to campus. Reflecting back, just a few days here on homecoming 2021, what comes to mind?
It's one of my favorite weekends. I love to hear the stories. With each passing homecoming, to see alumni come back, it's just special. They take the time out of their busy schedules and their lives to pay visit back to Brevard College. It's just meaningful. So I'm really happy that we were able to have a football game on campus for them to come to. the spring was kind of like a trial run for us. I felt like they really christened the field now that we've had a homecoming there. So it was just wonderful. We had a lot of rain last week, and so it was a nice way to kind of cap off a crummy week with a beautiful day and a lot of wins.
Yeah, and do you want to mention those Hall of Fame inductees? Jeff Wentworth from the class of 1980, just a cross country and track and field legend here at Brevard College, formerly inducted posthumously. He, passed away, about a decade ago. And also the 2009 cycling team, the first national championship cycling team for the Tornadoes cycling program, who's gone on to win a total of 10 of them, looking for number 11 this week in Durango, Colorado. Great to honor those two worthy inductees. And, I know that's always a special moment, Myranda.
Absolutely. And, last year our Hall of Fame was a little different. It was all virtual. And Coach Thad Walker was inducted. So it was nice that he got to come back for a second year and also be honored in a very different way, which was that it was with the team, that first kind of started this success that we have, and gives us a time to reflect on how far that program has come, and excited about the future of where it's going. In terms of cross country and track and field, what a powerhouse our college was. And it's nice to remember those folks and hear their stories and catch up with them. And so it's always a special time.
Yeah. And, Coach Norm Whittick was able to accept on behalf of Jeff Wentworth, his Hall of Fame plaque, and said some great words, and really appreciate that, along with, Marsha Wentworth, able to contribute as well from all the way in California. Really a special moment, and, just thanks for everyone who was involved with those Hall of Fame inductions. And, mentioned cycling and mountain biking, and they're on the road, the trailer's already left, and it's on its way to Durango, Colorado. The student athletes will be on their way shortly as well, and looking for national championship number 11. We hosted an event earlier this season here at Brevard College, which was a lot of fun. It's just, such a cool and such a, just amazing fit that we've got this, championship pedigree cycling program and mountain biking team here in the mountains at Brevard College.
Yeah, I called Coach Purley, and they were in Asheville. So kind of at the beginning of the trip, a lot more positive than he'll probably be when they get closer to Durango. But, I'm excited for them. They put a lot of time and effort into their sport and their craft, and it yields dividends for them. And so really excited to see what they put together, and looking forward to them coming home with a championship.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Mountain biking team will be in Durango, Colorado this week for the USA Cycling National Championships. Now, Myranda, you mentioned homecoming and just the power of having on-campus football, and the ability to have on-campus football is part of this kind of master facilities plan that involved expanding Isla Mel Family Field, building larger grandstands, ultimately a press box as well is on its way, also the field house, and moving the football locker rooms, and providing space for other sports as well. But it all adds up to the ability to have home football games on campus for alumni to come back to, and, all these additional services for our student athletes. Can you kind of tell NATO Nation, where we're at in that whole process, and obviously how far we've come?
Yeah, if you haven't been on campus, it looks quite different. The blue that's tying in to all of the things around the field is really exciting. I think that when we talk about the future, it's really exciting. We have a lot of room for growth, and our press box is the next big thing on our list to kind of tick off. So obviously COVID has created some delays with the whole world, and we're not immune to that at all. So having the press box would be wonderful. The Boshemer is going to get a new roof here in the next few months. They've already unloaded the supplies. They'll be working on that. Once that happens, there's a lot of updates in Boshemer that will now be able to happen. Not much point in updating things if there's water coming in. So just excited for that facility. And, I just think that this is just a long-term vision for a lot of folks long before I came here that's coming into realization, and that was under Juan Mascara's leadership.
Well, you mentioned Juan Mascara, who's still certainly a big part of everything that goes on here, even though he's not in what was his role as athletic director, part of the administration here at the college in general, our head women's soccer coach still, and, the athletics direct report, but, part of a, really diverse and also talented admin team that you lead, Myranda. And I know, that whole group does a lot of just great work behind the scenes that folks might not ever notice, but who makes weekends like this past one go seamlessly. Yeah,
I couldn't do it without him. So I always say, Phil's got the mic. I don't have to get on it. That's wonderful. So, it's pretty amazing how many compliments we get from visitors about our staff. And it's because I think that we've bought in that, Brevard College has that family atmosphere, and we truly believe it. We hear our student athletes say it all the time. And our coaching staff believes it, our faculty believe it, our staff believe it. And so when you come on campus on game day, you feel it. It's not just this thing, this facade. It's us, it's our culture. So while maybe you don't always hear the nicest things on game day, you certainly are invited and welcomed in for each of our games.
Yeah, I just want to give them all a shout out. Stephanie Johnson, Lee Burgess, Kayla Robles, Joseph Marvin, Ethan Thompson, our athletic trainers, head athletic trainer Liz Kelly, Caroline Pappin, Nicole Harshbarger, and Noah Rezick, and also our faculty athletics representative, Dr. Stephen Knott. Couldn't do it without him. All these people play such a valuable role, Myranda.
Yeah, absolutely. We've made a really great team. So proud of everyone and how they contribute so differently. So I can tell you that everyone has their part to play. I laughed because a few years ago, as an admin team, I took you guys for this escape room, and it was truly like the epitome of how we work on game day. There was no group think. Everyone kind of went to a different corner of the room to try and figure out what these clues meant. And it was so funny to kind of see how we operate as a team. Everyone has, okay, they're doing that, so what can I do? And it's all about finding things to better the experience of our student athletes, of our fans, and make it better, each time around.
We've talked about it before on the show, but it's, now we're well beyond the stage of, entry into NCAA Division III in the USA South Conference. We're full-fledged members and eligible for postseason across the board. We mentioned cycling heading to a national championship, but in the NCAA in the USA South, all of our teams eligible for postseason play and working towards that goal right now. And it's an exciting time as we're coming down the stretch. Men's and women's soccer, volleyball, football, also cross country, they'll be heading to the conference championships, and there's the chance to go to the NCAA championships with automatic bids, through conference championships. Exciting stuff, Myranda, right? When you have those sorts of goals in place.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an opportunity to create another experience for our student athletes, for them to remember for their lives. And, I think it's a really special thing when a team can get on a hot streak and finish out a season really strong, and you just never know what's going to happen. And so I'm excited to see what championships in Division III looks like. And I think we're going to get there really soon.
Well, we talked about the facilities and we talked about homecoming, and would be remiss without mentioning the newest addition to the facilities, which is a sculpture outside the field house, Tornado, designed by art professor Kyle Van Lusk, and just a magnificent piece of art there. I've already seen members of NATO Nation, take photos and get them all over Instagram and everything, in front of the statue. But we had the special unveiling, and it was a gift from the Student Government Association to President David Joyce and Lynn Joyce, who are retiring at the end of this academic semester. The start of just, a lot of, retirement celebrations down the pike here. Some of them sort of top secret, type of stuff. But Myranda, as you reflect back on, David Joyce as president here, and David and Lynn Joyce, just how much they've contributed to the college, what comes to mind?
Man, I wish they had another 10 years. I mean, things have just gone so well under their leadership, and it's truly both of them. I know David's our president, but our first lady is just as involved in our lives every single day, and I think that's what makes them so special. It's hard to imagine not seeing them at athletic events. They make a real intention to be so present. And I think that I hope our students know how special it is to really truly know your president and his wife. I don't think that every student gets that opportunity, and they've made it a special experience and really bought in again to the culture of what Brevard is. And so we'll miss them greatly. The great news is that they'll still be fans and they'll still be here at games and a part of our community forever.
Yeah, and that's the message I continue to hear. Every time I talk to either one of them, about what this retirement feels like and that kind of thing. It's sort of this, hey, we're not going anywhere. You're going to see us around a lot. They just, will be able to probably even kick back with us even that much more.
Yeah, I think it's got to be easier for them to say see you later, not goodbye. So it does make the transition a little less harsh when we know that they'll be just right down the street.
Very good. Myranda, before I let you go, we, close up tonight's edition of Tornado Talk. Any sort of general, message you'd like to communicate to NATO Nation, all of our fans, supporters, sponsors, friends?
It's been a wonderful year. Coming through 2020 and then 19 sports in season in the spring. Everyone's been through a lot. Our student athletes are exhausted, especially since they just had back-to-back seasons for some of them. Our fall sport athletes, they probably felt like they've been on go the entire year because they have. And so their support, their attendance at games, their contributions when our student athletes get on the phone and call. I think the volleyball team's having a phone-a-thon tonight. I mean, every little thing helps. And we have some coaching staffs and our student athletes with lofty goals, and it takes resources. And so just really appreciate the support, whether it be financial or time, that every parent, every fan, Tornado Club member, alumni, friend, supporter gives to each program. It really means a lot.
Very good. Well, Myranda Nash, Director of Athletics, thanks for joining the program. Really enjoyed catching up with you, and a lot to be excited about coming off that homecoming.
Yeah, it was a great homecoming, and we're looking forward to the rest of the seasons and making some pretty impressive runs. So thanks for having me tonight.
Very good. Well, want to thank all of our guests here at Tornado Talk this Monday night. Football assistant coach and director of operations Shane Nelson, also student athletes Jerome Bass and Taylor Jackson III coming off that big 31-0 victory over Maryville. Volleyball student athletes Melanie, Hoyle, and Kendall Rockstad coming off a couple wins this past week as well. And director of athletics Myranda Nash. Thank our sponsors, Arby's, Brevard Orthopedics, BSN Sports, eGolf Ford of Brevard, Hampton Inn, Ingles, Jets Pizza, Pepsi, Triangle Stop, and Young Transportation. We've got a lot of action this week, beginning with volleyball, 6 p.m. tomorrow night versus Piedmont. Men's and women's soccer will be in action on Wednesday, so come on out to Islamel Family Field and catch some soccer action. The women will get started at 5 p.m. at Islamel Family Field, and then the men to follow on Wednesday. And then women's and men's soccer again on Saturday, senior day for both those teams. Women's soccer versus Agnes Scott, 2 p.m. at Islamel Family Field, and then men's soccer versus Maryville at Islamel Family Field. Football is on the road at LaGrange. Good luck to them, and also good luck to the cycling team heading to Durango, Colorado for the national championships this week in mountain bikes. Want to thank you, the viewer, and NATO Nation for tuning in and supporting us all season long. Also want to thank our producer, Joseph Marvin, and be sure to head to www.bctornadoes.com for all your news, stats, schedules, and information, and follow us on social media as well. We won't be on the air next Monday night. It's fall break here at Brevard College, but you'll see us again on October the 25th on Monday night at 7 p.m. So look forward to seeing you again. And thanks for all the support, NATO Nation. Go Tornadoes!